Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we've got a lot to get to. 3 commitments over the weekend. We also have some takes on college football playoff formatting, and the NFL draft order is set. What does that mean for Travis and Shedeur? Let's dive in. Let's go.
Squad.
Bro, does Jake even work here anymore?
Who's that? Who's Jake? Now let me stop.
Oh, man. I don't know where he is. I feel like
It's been a minute, bro.
When's the last time he did an in-studio show?
I feel like we Denver left bro in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It kind of
Someone
feels
forget
like that.
to
I ain't
back
gonna
him
lie.
up, bro.
That's wild.
Oh,
Man.
that is
if you're
crazy.
listening, Jakey, we missed you, bro.
We do miss you, Jake. We got a good show today. We got a lot to get to. I love these Monday shows because especially once the off season gets kicked off, sometimes the midweek shows don't have much to get to.
Thanks.
And then Monday comes around and we got all sorts of good stuff. So let's start with the 3 commitments that happened this weekend. And I'm actually going to let you kick this off, and we'll go in order of which guys you are most excited about.
Okay, bet. Let's do that then. Let's start with a guy who, to me, looks like somebody who could start right away. That's Martavius French, a transfer linebacker from UTSA, a very experienced guy. Started his career at Tennessee. This year at UTSA, 80 total tackles, led all inside linebackers in the country in tackles for loss with 17 tackles for loss from the inside linebacker spot. This is an athletic guy, a guy who really has all the tools, experience, played a lot of football. And again, for a spot like linebacker that's losing to Kai Green, that's losing Levante Bentley, this is a guy who immediately can come in and kind of add experience and obviously some real production to that linebacker room. Martavius French is a huge add.
17 tackles for loss is insane.
Nuts, man.
And if there's one thing that I was really worried about losing with Nakai Hill-Green, and let me just preface this by saying I never thought he was coming back in the first place. So not when he went in the portal, just when the season ended, was his ability to get into the backfield.
Yes.
And there are so many times throughout this season once he started getting on the field where it's just like, even if he wasn't making the play, which a lot of times he did, he was in the backfield before the running back had a chance to get to the hole.
Facts.
And forcing them to go another way and filtering it somewhere else. You don't get 17 tackles for loss
on accident
unless you are living back there.
Yes.
And if you finished 17 tackles in the backfield, I'm guessing there's at least 5 more where you just pushed the running back another direction and someone else made a tackle for loss, or there was a tackle right around the line of scrimmage, towards the sideline. This fills a huge need for me, which is just that ability to get downhill and make plays in the running game. And that's something you got to be really, really excited for.
No doubt about it. And Steve Wiltfong at On3 reported yesterday, too, that Martavius French took less money, took less NIL to play in Boulder here at Colorado. So obviously somebody who was highly sought after. And not to bring him to Kai Hill-Green again, and I don't want to compare him to Kai Hill-Green or put unnecessary expectations on him, but it's kind of a similar career arc, right?
Yep.
Nakai Hill-Green started at Michigan at a Power 4. Martavius French started at Tennessee, went down a level, so to speak, for whatever reason, and absolutely balled out. Yeah. And now he's back up a level. Again, we thought Nakai Hill-Green was coming to Colorado for his last kind of hurrah at the college level. It didn't turn out that way. But this is definitely Martavius French's last hurrah at the college football level because he was granted another year of eligibility due to the Diego Pavia JUCO ruling. So, again, this is an experienced guy who would probably otherwise be headed to the NFL. And this is a huge ad. This is big time.
And this is, to me, this is the best part of the transfer portal. And I've seen a lot of people complaining recently. Obviously, Jaden Rashada is about to go to his third, technically fourth school because he did sign with Florida for a minute there. And a lot of people are wringing their hands over this, saying, when is enough enough? To me, this is what's beautiful, and it's why the product on the field when it comes to college football keeps getting better.
Yes.
Even though the vibes around the sport maybe are getting worse, is because guys like this go to a big school, and in the past, those big schools were just able to hoard them and just keep them around. And maybe we might need you the second half of your senior year,
right?
When our starter goes down, who is a 5-star. And what that did was create a huge disparity between those schools. In Colorado, with Coach Prime is a different animal. So I'll just say like those schools and Arizona State.
Yep.
Now those guys are able to say, okay, I don't like this. I want to play football. And maybe because you didn't have any tape at the SEC level or a lot of it, you don't get to go to another SEC school, but you got to go somewhere where you can get a chance. You go get a chance, you go ball out, and now the world sees, okay, this guy can play. He goes up a level, and then hopefully goes on to the NFL draft. Or, even in Nakai Hill-Green's case, he's back where he imagined himself, which is at, a big program like Alabama. So to me, this is what makes the transfer portal special and is going to result in more success stories than stories of, this guy just bounced around getting a bag and never did anything.
Yeah, this is the blueprint to me. I would much rather have a guy in Martavius French's situation, maybe coming up a level, having proven that he belongs and he balled out at that level, as opposed to somebody coming, from a blue blood program, a Texas, an SEC program who didn't, sniff the field at their previous spot and is now, you don't really know what to expect. You know what to expect out of Martavius French. This is a 6'2", 225-pound linebacker who can really, play downhill, make plays in the backfield. You know what you're getting out of him. Again, experience, a veteran guy too, in a linebacker room that's gonna need that. Yep. That experience, that leadership. A lot of young guys, Mantrez Walker, some other young guys in particular in that room. So this is a good get all around. I love this blueprint for sure.
Well, and I'll go short on this, but it's been something that I've just seen weirdly pop up a lot this offseason, which is the hate towards Coach Hart, especially after they weren't able to get Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng, and somehow that was blamed on Coach Hart, and he can't finish in the recruiting and blah, 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 and, somehow not getting any credit for bringing in Nakai Hill-Green.
Crazy.
And turning him into the player that he was, or helping turn him into the player he was, for helping Levante Bentley progress and get better throughout of his career. And now you hear this story of a guy taking less NIL money to come play for Colorado. Yes. You don't do that if you think the linebackers coach sucks.
Speak on it, bro.
Especially when you feel like you're one step away from the NFL.
Facts.
So I just had to hit on that. All right, who's next?
Good stuff, bro. Next up is Zarian McGill. Some help on the interior of the offensive line. A transfer from Louisiana Tech. Over the last 2 seasons, has allowed just 2 sacks. That's over 685 pass blocking snaps. So he's been in the trenches for real this last 2 seasons, holding up really well on that interior offensive line. He's played in 35 career games, so this is another very experienced guy, another productive guy. He can play guard. He can play center. Was a former All-Sun Belt pick 2 years ago, I believe, at UL Monroe. So, again, this is another experienced guy, and this is coming on the heels of Carter Miller, another guy actually from ULM who was originally committed out of the transfer portal to Colorado just before the bowl game, and he actually just told me yesterday, Carter Miller did that. He decommitted from Colorado, and obviously a big reason he did commit to Colorado was because of Phil Lodeholt, offensive line coach who's now at Mississippi State. So Carter Miller's in the portal, but Zarian McGill, again, this Louisiana Tech offensive line transfer is now in the fold for the Buffs. And he's a nice add, a productive guy, and kind of covers up the blow of losing the guy, a commitment, I should say, from Carter Miller.
Absolutely, and again, gives you a veteran option there, right?
Yes.
You like what you saw from Cash Cleveland at center, and I don't even know what to call it, like coming out of nowhere, truly. If you guys remember, when he came in against Arizona, that was the first rep he had ever had with the first team, including practice.
That's still crazy to me. That doesn't sound real.
It doesn't. But he came in and I think did an admirable job given the circumstances. And he was a true freshman walk-on. So you still have something there that you like. Yeah. But now you have kind of the opposite. A guy who's shown you tons and tons of film of what he can do. You can go and look at the top-end prospects that he's played against or the best competition that he's played against and how he did. 2 sacks over the course of 2 seasons. Really, really impressive. And the versatility where, let's say you end up loving what Cash Cleveland does this offseason. You want to keep him at center. Well, McGill can help you at other places along the interior of the offensive line. And I'll just say this, and this is not at all a dig at Carter Miller. Everyone commits to a school for a different reason. Mm-hmm. But I kind of have extra love for a guy who's like, I don't care who the coach is.
I'm staying regardless.
I'm here for I'm here for Coach Prime. I'm here for what they're building on this offense. I'm here for the University of Colorado. And I trust in Coach Prime that whoever he brings in to be my position coach is going to make me a better player.
For sure. I mean, and just saw today, peeked from a comment, I hadn't actually seen this, but Carter Miller today just committed to UCF. So he'll be staying in the Big 12.
All right.
So that's interesting. But, I mean, that's part of it, right, with the transfer portal. You know, before, like Unc eloquently told us on Friday, until that your name is on that dotted line, where you go reach for that wine, I just keep him behind. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you think it's all right and you get a commitment, you know, until that pen hits paper, anybody can continue to still recruit you.
Actually, even after the pen hits paper, just asked
facts.
The quarterback with Cal and then Oregon and then back to Cal.
That's crazy. I really didn't know. I mean, we got to get too off topic, but I really didn't know a true freshman as an early enrollee after signing can just enter the portal.
Do you think that should be changed?
Yes.
I saw our guy Tyler Ziskin, Captain Tyler, tweeting about this yesterday, saying like, you got to at least stay for 1 year after you sign.
Yes, that's crazy that you can sign and just get up out of there before you even take a class or anything.
Yeah, and I'm very pro like player empowerment when it comes to this.
So
stuff.
am I.
You got to do the best thing for you, but you also kind of have to give things a chance before you know.
Yeah, man.
You know, I remember some of my friends who went out of state after like a week of college. We're like, man, I think I'm going to transfer back. It's like, dude, you got to at least like try to make some friends, Seriously. Go to a couple parties, see what's up. I don't know. That one is odd to me. I do think that I'm for unlimited transfers. I'm for a lot of this stuff. I don't know if I'm for transferring a week after signing.
Nah, man, that ain't cool. And he's back where he originally was going to sign to, which makes it even sound crazier. But, I mean, you can't judge people without knowing too much about what's going on behind the scenes. But that is just crazy part of college football. But just to finish up on Zarian McGill, again, another guy like Martavius French who wouldn't surprise me at all from day one was a starter, whether that be at center or guard. So that's a very valuable add. And then our last commitment of the weekend here the last few days is Kylan Salter. TCU transfer linebacker, the brother of new Colorado quarterback Caden Salter. Kylan, again, coming over from TCU, played in 7 games for the Horned Frogs in 2024, mostly on special teams duty. He missed the entire 2023 season with an injury. But again, this is a former 3-star recruit, obviously the brother of potentially QB1 for the Buffs in 2025. And, you know, at the very least, he'll be able to add some depth, some experience to, again, that linebacker room that has, you know, some questions, to say the least. So, again, another add 3 linebacker commits from the transfer portal out of this cycle. Obviously, when we just talked about in Martavius French, Kylan Salter, obviously, and Reggie Hughes as well.
Exactly. And as you were saying that, I think I remembered that we talked about Kylan a little bit on Friday.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go as much in depth there, but I just love the brother thing.
Oh, yeah.
I love that we're continuing to keep that going. And, hey, Branch brothers still haven't committed anywhere. Come through.
True.
All right. Before we move on, got to give a shout out to our friends over at Factor Meal Kits. Allie keeps updating me on how many days it is to our wedding.
How many is it?
I think we're at 124
Dope,
today.
Dog. That's awesome.
So that means that I got to get on my grind. I actually have been on the workout grind since, I guess, early December.
Okay.
Now it's time to lock in the nutrition part.
Thanks.
And Factor is going to be a huge help for me on that. And they can be a huge help for you, too. No matter what your diet is, dietary restrictions, they can help you. And the best part about this is, while I love the big meal kit that comes with all of the food and you got to prepare it yourself, I think those could be great, too. These are extra easy, man. These are, you throw them in the fridge, you get enough to make sure you're set for the week, and you never freeze them. Pop them right into the microwave and have a meal ready in just a couple minutes. So shout out to our friends over at Factor and get in on it. Get in on this deal. Use the code DNVR Buffs 50 and get 50% off your first box plus 20% off the next month. That's DNVR Buffs 50, and you can go to factormeals.com/DNVR Buffs 50 to get 50% off plus 20% off your next month.
And shout out to the homies over at Breck Brew, man. One of the main things I miss about our bus in the Buff Stampede was that there was always a case of brews from Breck Brew there for us to take a liking to, man. Check out Breck Brew's new West Coast style IPA. It's called the Ridge Runner. This double dry hopped brew is inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. Go check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a brew near you. Shout out Breck Brew.
I guess, did the Branch Bros officially committed to Georgia? I missed that.
I saw that they were crystal balled.
Okay.
But, yeah, I guess maybe they signed.
All right. Well, they better not buy that wide. I will say I've been a little bit less locked in because I've been celebrating the fact that the Denver Broncos are going back to the playoffs.
Yeah, man, quickly, man. How dope is that, man? It's been a minute.
It's so nice, man. It's nice to have an organization that feels competent right now.
Yeah, man.
The ownership has come in and really committed to making this team a winner again. Part of that was hiring Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I think he's done a great job with Bo Nix. A lot of question marks around him when he was drafted. Some from me, a lot from Jake. But that's fine, he came. It's okay to have question marks. He came in and answered a lot of those questions already. So yeah, it feels really good and playing with house money. Playing with house money, going up against the Bills this week. No one really expects the Broncos to win, but also, sorry to any Bills fans out there, kind of perennial chokers. It's only a matter of time. When's it gonna happen? Hopefully, it's this week for the Broncos.
That's so funny.
It feels great.
Yeah, man. I said it quickly, last week about something different. I think we're talking about Colorado, just college football. But I look at football very simply, man. If you have a head coach that everybody believes in, you have a quarterback that everybody believes in, you're on the road to success. And it feels like the Broncos have figured that part out of it for sure with Peyton and Bo. That's dope.
Quickly. You tweeted this out yesterday, and I just thought it was a good reminder for some people of just what this class so far looks like from the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Very different from years past. On this show, especially over the last couple years, Jake and I are covering multiple transfer portal entries, multiple transfer portal commitments every single day through this period. It has not been that loud this year, which I think is a sign of stability and belief with the players that exist within the program.
Agreed.
But there has been some ads. So let's just, before we move on, go through the list of guys that have joined the team so far.
Yeah, for sure. So as of this moment, Colorado has added 14 transfer portal additions to the roster in terms of commitment. So obviously we'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously our quarterback, Caden Salter. At wide receiver, they added Joseph Williams from Tulsa. All-conference freshman of the year.
Yep.
At tight end, Zach Atkins from the D2 level, a guy that I talked to recently. 2 offensive linemen, Aki Ogunbiwi, I believe is how you pronounce his name, from Texas A&M.
Impressive.
I believe can also play guard and tackle. Zarian McGill, who we just talked about. Pair of defensive linemen, Jaheim Otis from Alabama, the big fella. Gabriel Lightfoot from Fresno State, a very experienced, productive guy out of the Mountain West. And then the 3 linebackers we talked about, Reggie Hughes, Kylan Salter, Martavius French, couple DBs, Makari Vickers from Oklahoma.
Seatbelt.
Yeah, seatbelt. Tawfiq Byard, who I'm really excited about from USF, the safety, and also a couple of specialists. Kicker Buck Buchanan from Louisiana Tech, who's got a cannon for a leg.
A Buchanan.
And then and then the punter, Damon Greaves, who's been really productive booting the football for Kansas the last couple of seasons. So 14 guys, some real, versatility, really all over the board. And I really like it. I know people would like to see a running back probably, maybe another receiver. Obviously, the trenches we love to continue to add to. But at this point, 14 guys, I really like the talent. And a lot of these guys look like they're instant impacts, which is you always love to see.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me a lot more of a transfer portal list of a good program.
Yeah.
And it's taken a lot of work to get to this point.
No
but
doubt.
now I feel like you're looking at a team that's like, okay, where are our holes based on who's transferring out?
Yeah.
Where do we needed to pick up a little bit based on the recruits that we're bringing in, and who can come in and help at those positions immediately?
Definitely.
A lot of times over the last 2 years, it's been like, hey, let's just try and get some better bodies in here. The golf ball theory, right?
You're right.
If you improve by 3% in a position, that's great. You got to just keep building and stacking, and that's basically what it's been about every portal period. This finally feels like, okay, who do we have? What do we need?
Yeah.
Who can help us there right away? And that's great.
And
I'm with you that I'd probably like to see a running back added. Mekhi Hughes is obviously a target, and now I think he's being crystal ball to Oregon.
Yeah.
But regardless, it would be nice to add something there, maybe a different dimension, a speed back, if you find that. Either way, that, and then, we'll take as much help in the trenches as we can get.
Yeah.
But so far, so good in this portal class.
For sure. And, talking about the trenches, there's still a couple guys who were visiting this weekend who we've yet to hear decisions on. One guy in particular is Ike Chrysler, the tackle from Illinois, who was an all Big Ten honorable mention, I believe, 2 of the last 3 seasons. Also a defensive lineman from Texas State, Taven Coleman, I believe his name was in Boulder. I think he's in Boulder actually right now for a visit as well. Those would be 2 guys in particular. There's also the Wagner offensive tackle out there who was coming off a visit here recently, just posted some pictures. He would also be a great add. But, I feel like this portal class is going to be different than last year in terms of there aren't going to be the sexy names like a LeJontay Wester, like a Will Shepard perhaps, but I feel like there's going to be more guys, who obviously were still productive and experienced, but just more, in the trenches. And again, maybe not have the sexy name, but definitely still have the talent in the production that this recruiting staff is looking for. So off to a good start. I agree, though. A running back would be nice.
Quickly, want to give a shout out to Toyota for bringing us the Toyota Lounge.
Of course.
And also remind you guys that we are changing up our showtime. So this 12:15 slot is going to be the new slot moving forward for the off season. We're looking forward to being with everyone a little bit earlier each day. But jot it down however you need to, and we'll see you guys back here at 12:15, obviously Monday through Friday. All right. I want to talk about the college football playoff a little bit.
Let's do it.
Because there's been a lot of discussion about, did this team deserve to be in, or how should this format work, or anything, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it really over the last couple weeks. So I want to see, where are you at right now on just this first year of the 12-team playoff and how it worked?
Out the gate, one thing that stands out to me after watching kind of this first kind of go around of it, we either need to do away with buys or change how they are given out. Because should Arizona State have gotten a buy?
No. And neither should Boise.
Should Boise State have gotten a buy?
No, of course not.
So either, again, I think there's really 2 really big flaws with how the buy is currently worked out. One, you're not rewarding the right teams. It shouldn't. I don't think it should go to what I think it currently is. What the 4 highest ranked conference champs, I believe, is how the buys are currently given out. And let's just give it to the 4 highest ranked teams. The teams that the committee believes are the 4 best teams in the playoff. They deserve buy, regardless of what conference that is.
Now, let me ask you this. Is the buy a reward at all?
That was going to be my second point. So that's the first of all. They're giving it to the wrong teams. And then also, 2, I don't think you're really being rewarded when you do get the buy, because that week off creates rust. Yep. And again, you're going to be facing a team, again, after a week off that just probably played a really good football game the week before, is coming off a lot of momentum, has a lot of confidence in their game. And again, it's weird. We talk about it all the time, right? You got to kind of have to manage coming off a bye when we're talking about it in the regular season, right? Especially when you're playing a team that's not coming off a bye. And it just puts a team that should be getting rewarded, to me, at such a disadvantage coming off that bye with rust and additional rest. It should be looked at as a reward. But again, I just don't really like how the bye is working right now at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, you need buys in football just because it's such a physically demanding game.
In the NFL, I believe. But
look at the Buffs this year. I mean, they had the bye right before Kansas State came out and did not look crisp in that game. And then I think their next bye was before Utah. which they did end up looking good in that game. But
yeah,
they had to kind of change the way they approached it, if you remember.
Right, yeah.
And the second bye was not nearly as much of a break. And I just wonder from a college mindset of, an 18 to 21-year-old kid, if a break is actually helpful to them.
Facts.
Just like mentally going from so locked in to not locked in, I think it's just natural when you're not on the same schedule.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably hard to get back in that mode. Whereas if you're a team that played in the first week of the playoffs and won, now you're like extra locked. You went from already so locked in because you had to play the first week. Now you're extra locked in. You got to take it up another notch while the other team's like trying to get back into gear.
Facts.
And so while I think no coach would turn down a bye, I don't know how rewarding it is. I'll say this. If you're going to continue giving buys, 1, it should go to the top 4 teams, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
2, the teams that advance need to be reseeded.
Yes.
And
100%.
let me be very clear when I say I don't give a fuck that Oregon got screwed over by this. But if I just close my eyes and don't look at the helmets, and I see who had the 1 seed and how they were awarded for that, they sat around while Ohio State got their mojo back after losing to Michigan.
Literally.
And then they had to play, the team that's the favorite to win the whole thing now.
Facts.
In that next week. It didn't reward them at all.
So to be clear, so say after like that first week of, where there's buys.
Mm-hmm.
So after that first, wave, the remaining 8 teams should be reseeded. Like the playoff committee does like a re-ranking it 1 through 8 after seeing the first couple games. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I think should happen.
Yeah. I mean, we do it first of all, it would be incredible television.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a program, right? It's an event that you kind of have to every week, which I feel like be dope. Like again, after Ohio State took care of business, they wouldn't have still been ranked 8th. You know what I'm saying? If they reseeded it, I feel like they'd probably been in the top 4, and that would have avoided the Oregon-Ohio State matchup. That's what I think would be really cool if they did.
I think all of this would be fixed if we didn't have the seeding all messed up based on the buys.
True.
So what would have happened is, I don't know what Ohio State would have been ranked actually after they lost to Michigan. They would have taken a hit, but I don't think they would have been 8th.
Right. No.
And what would have happened is one of the lower seeded teams would have ended up just naturally happening, because in the NFL they reseed too, but it's not. There's no committee that meets. It's just you're ranked the way you are when you come into the playoffs, and then after the first round, number 1 seed gets the highest rated the highest remaining seed against them. I think that's the way to do it. I will say the way to make it easy for ESPN and all these other people is to say, you're going to be able to have another show where they reveal rankings and the whole country is tuned in.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
The only thing I don't like about it is I already fear that there is corruption going on in the rankings in the first place.
Fair.
I don't know if I want to open the door for more corruption.
Fair. I just feel like it's another data point, right? Like people, and rightfully so, looked at Ohio State differently after they took care of business in that first round. And we're like, okay, well, if we're going to continue to get this Ohio State, they're a top 4 team, with that talent. They're still the roster that we thought they were prior to the season, $20 million roster, so to speak. And I feel like that'd be cool. And also too, I mean, I don't know if 12 teams is the right way, like the right number here moving forward. But
yeah, I mean, if it is, then if it isn't, then all of the formatting stuff is back on the table in terms of the best way. My overarching feeling coming out of this was that they didn't put enough thought into it.
No, it was very rushed.
How did that happen? There are people whose jobs are just to figure this shit out, and I felt like they were just like, it's like if we were at a party and we were trying to build a beer pong tournament. And we're just like, all right, just throw it together. Highest ranked conference champions. We let Boise State get the number 3 seed in the tournament.
Let them host a playoff game, bro.
Yes. No, they didn't host a playoff game because they got a bye.
Boise didn't play at home?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
They played at home for the Mountain West Championship.
Yeah, you're right. I'm checking. You're right.
So, that's its own problem.
You're right.
Well, find a neutral site, jeez. But We let them get the number 3 seed in the tournament. That can't happen.
No.
Boise, I think, actually, I won't even throw shade. They deserve to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
They did not deserve to be the number 3 seed with a bye. They probably deserve to be the 12 seed.
No.
So.
It's crazy, dog.
Anyways, I love this stuff. This type of conversation is what I love about the playoff in itself, is that it opens up all of these conversations and it makes people talk about the sport and everyone has a take on the way it should work. But I'm pretty disappointed in the way that they executed the first 12-team playoff.
You still rocking with Texas right now?
No. Quinn Ewers can't win a national championship.
So,
I guess give me Ohio State.
That's crazy.
That's a bandwagon move, but
yeah.
Watching Quinn, he shouldn't be here right now. The Texas should not be playing still. They should have lost to Arizona State.
Yeah.
If they could just generate any pressure on, all-out blitz on 4th down.
I'm still sticking with him for right now. I don't feel great about it, but I don't feel like you feel great about any of the remaining teams.
I really don't feel good about the fact that Arizona State's defense slowed them down.
Yeah. I mean, after they went up, 17-3, I think it was.
Yeah, but there's also a punt return touchdown in that.
It's true.
All right. Got to give a shout out to my Toyota before we move on here. We got the Toyota Lounge. We got our nice little Toyota microphones here. But also, I just can't say enough great things about the Toyota that I drive to and from this place every single day. All I can think about is when I can get the garage space to add another Toyota to the collection.
That'd be elite.
So I can get that sick new RAV4. That's like that's one of those new things that I'm just manifesting. I have a lot of things where I'm like, all right, I'll have this. Like one of my big things is I'll know I've made it when I have a golf simulator in my house.
Oh yeah.
That's that's another level up for me. One thing it's been a goal of mine since I was literally like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Was to have courtside season tickets to the Nuggets.
Sheesh.
That's another level above that.
Yeah.
The next one I'm aiming for is just get a RAV4, have the garage space to have 2 cars. That's what I'm aiming on right now.
Bro.
If you have a similar goal, you got to go to a Front Range Toyota store and visit a location near you. You got AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
We have an elite stretch of football coming up here this week. Thursday, Notre Dame at Penn State. Friday, Ohio State at Texas. 2 playoff games on Saturday. 3 on Sunday, including the Broncos. Lions, Vikings Monday night, which means that it's literally the perfect time to rock with our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah, shout out Bet365.
Shout out to him. Do you have any like benchmarks like that you've set for yourself? You're like, if I had done this.
When you said that, bro, it was really just having a basketball court, like a basketball hoop, bro, in my garage, backyard, whatever. I always wanted that as a kid. And yeah, that's kind of like wealth to me.
Yeah,
like, if you got a basketball hoop, you got money at the crib. So
are you saying kind of outdoor?
Yes.
Okay. Because so when I grew up, one of my best friends, his dad was the AD at CU.
Okay.
And they had an indoor basketball court.
Yeah. See, I can't even fathom the indoor one. I'm just talking about just a hoop outside in the garage.
Elite, bro.
Yeah,
so it was just half court, but it also had like these super comfy couches in the corner with like a man cave TV area. They had a batting cage.
That boy was swimming in it.
It was so sick, dude. And then right outside there's like an in-ground trampoline. That was a big one for me when I was a kid too.
Damn.
If someone had the in-ground trampoline,
bro, that would have been my best friend, bro.
Yes. It was anytime you got invited over there, it was like, this is gonna be a night.
Nah, that sounds too lit, bro.
All right, let's get to our last couple things here before we get to questions. The draft order is set.
Sure is.
The draft order is set for the NFL, and I got to admit, this really threw a wrench in the gears of kind of everything that we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
For a while, it was Shedeur to the Raiders. Then it became Shedeur to the Giants. Then over the last couple of weeks, it's just kind of gone up in the air. And I feel like no one was predicting the draft order to look like this at any point during the season. But now with all of the dust settled, the top 5 looks like this. 1, the Tennessee Titans. 2, the Cleveland Browns. 3, the New York Giants. 4, the New England Patriots. And 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know. What are you thinking right now? Because I don't know what to think. And also, there's reports out there, to throw an extra wrench in this gear, that the Titans really like Cam Ward.
Right. Yeah, man. This is going to be fascinating. I feel like this is just going to be crazy, dog, because we don't really know what to expect, right? We don't know what these teams are thinking. Like, obviously, Tennessee is in need of a quarterback at number 1. Mm-hmm. Cleveland is in need of a quarterback at number 2. I mean, you can say that about the top, 3 teams, with the Giants at 3. And to me, I just feel like somebody's going to trade up for somebody that they want, whether that be obviously Shedeur, whether a team, wants, Cam Ward, and maybe the Tennessee loving Cam Ward is maybe just a smokescreen just to, put something out there to get some moves, in motion. And also it just makes you think, where is Travis going to fall in all this? Like, is somebody want to trade up to get him? Is he going to fall to New England at 4, assuming the top, 3 go quarterback? And who is that third quarterback? It's a lot of questions. But
I wouldn't want the third quarterback
at all. But man,
who would you have as the third quarterback right now?
I mean, everybody. What I've been seeing is Milroe, but that doesn't excite me at all.
If I was a fan of a team and we had a chance to draft Jalen Milroe, I think it would excite me, just because he has all of the tools.
Yeah,
but it's a fine line between just having the tools and being a great quarterback.
Like Jalen Milroe to me feels like a prospect like Anthony Richardson, but not as explosive and not as talented of a thrower.
He's faster.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. But yeah, I mean, and we saw Tennessee fans at the game yesterday, at least one of them with the bag over their head with the Shedeur, picture. So that momentum is building. But it would be interesting. What are your thoughts?
Let me just throw a couple potential quote-unquote dream scenarios out here. But it starts with questions. If you are the Tennessee Titans, the Cleveland Browns, or the New York Giants, would you trade your 1, 2, or 3 pick for Drake May?
I think if I was Cleveland, I would do that.
You would trade number 2 for Drake May?
Yeah, I think I would if I was Cleveland.
So, if that was on the table, and who knows how much the Patriots love Drake May, maybe they're in love with him, maybe they're not.
Right.
Patriots trade Drake May to Cleveland for number 2. They get number 2. They select Shedeur because the Titans want Cam. And then with number 4, they pick Travis Hunter. Shedeur and Travis reunited in New England.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be insane, especially with New England obviously fired head coach Gurode Mayo today as well, so it'll be interesting to see.
The hell is that, bro?
It's bullshit, bro. It's what it is. They set that man up. Robert Kraft set that man up. What did you think this season was going to look like?
Oh, it's such nasty work, man.
I mean, we can really go down this rabbit hole, but yeah, it is.
It's such nasty work, man. And I feel terrible for Gurode Mayo because he turned down, or at least I felt like wasn't as included in other conversations for other jobs, because it was like, oh, I'm going to be the head coach and waiting here once Bill steps away.
And that's weird too, because last year around this time, like that was Kraft's messaging. Like, we've been planning this for almost years that Gurode Mayo will be the successor to Bill Belichick, and we believe in him fully. And after 1 year, you get a top 4 pick. I mean, Drake May showed flashes. You weren't the biggest disaster in the NFL this year.
No.
How does he lose his job after one season? That made no sense.
Yeah, that's gross. Okay.
And again, it might be something that Coach Prime might be considering as well. How that kind of situation unfolded with black head coach.
Great point.
You know what I'm saying?
Great point.
That might be a spot that they say, I don't want my boys there.
That kind of undoes all the excitement that I just created about, and it's not your fault at all. No, you're right.
Yeah, it's crazy though.
Okay, So let's go to the second possibility.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the Titans, the Browns, the Giants,
mm-hmm.
would you trade 1, 2, or 3 for Trevor Lawrence?
I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy, and I'd say no there.
Okay. I sort of feel like someone would.
Because
Tennessee, the only thing is you got to pay him.
Tennessee, no, they just did.
But I mean, like,
okay,
you don't get the benefit of the rookie quarterback.
I feel like Tennessee you can roll out. They're not going to in the division. I don't think they do that.
No.
So then it's like Cleveland, the Giants.
Cleveland's tried it all, and none of it's worked. They haven't tried this yet.
And that's why I'm like, I can maybe see them going with Drake May. I
guess trading for Deshaun Watson was kind of this.
Yeah.
And they probably couldn't afford it anyway with all the Deshaun Watson.
And the Giants, hell no, they're not doing that. So.
All right. The Shedeur and Travis dream might be dead. Although, as a fan of the Broncos, I don't know if I want those two on the same team in the AFC anyway.
Honestly. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy.
So I guess to tie a bow on this, make your call. Where do Shedeur and Travis land?
I think they go 1-2. I think Shedeur goes to Tennessee. I think the Browns take Travis at 2. I think Cam Ward goes to 3, and at that point the draft begins. Wow.
Are we okay with Travis to Cleveland? Because I'm okay with Shedeur to Tennessee. I think it's kind of cool. Obviously the franchise has great history with the Oilers. You had Warren Moon there. You had Steve McNair there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of weapons on the team, which doesn't feel great on the Titans.
Nah.
But
still got Ridley.
I don't know. There's just something cool about Nashville that I think Shedeur can embrace and put them back on the map as a legit NFL franchise.
And I feel like Brian Callahan is the type of offensive-minded head coach that a Shedeur would thrive with as well.
I think so. Oh, and how many Joe Burrow comps have we made with Shedeur?
Period.
And Brian Callahan obviously comes right off from working with Joe Burrow to be the head coach there.
Period. And again, with Travis maybe going to Cleveland at 2. I mean, assuming Deshaun Watson is back and Cleveland feels comfortable moving forward with him as their quarterback in 2025 and beyond.
They probably shouldn't.
Which they probably shouldn't or probably won't. But there is a quarterback under contract there in Cleveland, to say the least. At the very least. So we'll see.
Cleveland's defense is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least they were in flashes. It feels like, from a personality standpoint, Travis fits in Cleveland.
I'm curious why you think that.
Just because he's like, he doesn't love the spotlight as much.
True.
I think he loved the fact that while he was the star, he was the eventual Heisman winner. Mm-hmm. Coach Prime and Shedeur soaked up a lot of the cameras.
For sure.
And I think he's fine no matter what because he knows how to handle a big market and the big media. But I think
Cleveland could be good for him.
I think that blue collar vibe fits really well with him.
Definitely.
I just don't trust the franchise whatsoever. I don't know how anyone possibly could. So that part of it worries me. But I mean, there's a reason these teams are at the top of the draft, and
exactly
a lot of them are there a lot. It just is what it is. You're not going to land, and if you're getting drafted in the top 5 picks, it's very rare for you to land with a team that has had stability for a long time, or certainly didn't have any this year.
I just feel like I'm not on this down on the Cleveland Browns franchise as many others are. Not too long ago, they won a playoff game with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. And obviously, since then, how they handled the Baker situation wasn't ideal. And obviously, the whole Deshaun Watson situation isn't ideal. But, I still believe in, Stefanski as a head coach. They, like you said, they still have a good defense, good pieces on their defense. And again, you add in, a Travis Hunter, assuming the quarterback situation gets figured out, they're going to be able to compete. In that division in particular, and obviously in that conference is going to be a bit more tougher to kind of crack the upper echelon of. But I honestly wouldn't hate Cleveland for Travis Hunter.
All right, I still think New England was the best possible landing spot for Travis. So if maybe there's a chance that they trade up or he falls back, I think that'd be cool. And then something just tells me that it'll end up working out where Shedeur goes to the Giants.
Man, bro, watching Neighbors again on Sunday, dude.
I know, and that
he's so cold,
he's
bro.
so good, dude. And that's just so much better than anything that the Titans have. So part of me is like, at the same time, though, Allie's an Eagles fan, so
yeah, true.
That makes it a little awkward. But this is a crazy thing. I've never experienced this as a CU fan.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, I mean, the most recent one we kind of had was LaVisca, but like he goes in the second round to the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same. I don't know. There's just something about it's like, oh, our guys are going at the top of the draft, and they're going to be like considered the franchise players for these places they land. Like, it's I don't know. It's different than anything I've ever experienced as a fan, so it's going to be weird. And you know, obviously wherever they land, I'm going to be pulling for them, and I'm very glad that most likely the Raiders are not part of that conversation anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, if there's a team that I can see trading up, though, that'd be the one. Up from 6 into the top 3 or so, if they can do it, that'd be the team that I can see pulling the trigger either on Shedeur or Travis, just because of, again, all the connections that have been linked in. Again, I feel like every time we were at a practice or event where there were NFL scouts there, a Raiders representative was there. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So it'll be interesting. Somebody said, too, that, you know, Travis to the Giants at 3 after Shedeur and Cam go 1-2. In that scenario, I just don't know what the Giants would do at quarterback. You know, having Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter on your team without a quarterback kind of seems like a disservice to everybody involved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
man,
be interesting.
This is going to be such a fun thing to follow for us.
Hell yeah.
It's, you know, every offseason is a little bit different, but this is a cool one where, like, the draft gets to be a big part, especially for Jake, I know, because he's, you know, so into the NFL draft. So this is going to be a fun one to follow with. All right. Let's get to the people. Let's get to the questions. Let's see what everyone has to say on this fine Monday. What's the day of the month?
The 6th.
Ah, yes, of course. All right. First one from Cowboy50. O-line coach update. No update from here.
No. Stay tuned.
The next one is from Kamada. Can you make these just a little bit bigger? Thank you. When will Coach Pat start inputting creative offensive plays like T formation and more motion with receivers? We need more creativity. Be more aggressive. Do you agree?
Yes,
I couldn't agree more.
Hopefully in 2025 is when he starts. That'd be cool.
Definitely. I mean, if I were to, there's a lot of places to start, but if I were to give Pat Shurmur a place to start, I would tell him to watch the Broncos offense over the last 13 games with Sean Payton and Bo Nix, with a similar situation that Pat is potentially going to have on his hands next year with a inexperienced quarterback getting used to a new level. I feel like the way that Sean Payton has made it easy on Bo Nix, getting him rhythm throws and then mixing in the occasional shot down the field when the defense starts to pull up is just so nice. I mean, the first touchdown the Broncos scored yesterday, we broke it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast with Todd Davis earlier.
Yeah.
They put all this eye candy in to get all of the linebackers head spinning, and it just ends up in a little dump off to Marvin Mims. They have Quinn Miners, their best blocker, out there to open up a lane for him, and he takes it to the crib. And it's just like that. The quarterback didn't have to do any work.
Right.
All the work was done by Sean Payton and the offensive line and the receiver. But in the end, goes down as like a 27-yard touchdown pass for your quarterback, and he's feeling real good after that first drive.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Pat Shurmur got a big job on his hands in 2025, especially with a different quarterback, whether it be a true freshman or a guy who has certainly a different style of play than Shedeur Sanders. But, yeah, we got to get motion involved. We got to see different versatility and personnel groupings. Hopefully a guy like Zach Atkins at tight end will allow Coach Shurmur, you know, make him feel more comfortable in using different personnel, 2 tight end sets and whatnot. But it's got to look a little bit different offensively for the Buffs, and it really starts with Pat Shurmur offensively.
Next one is from Rodney. It says, what do you guys think about cornerback Preston Young from JUCO and cornerback Trey Tomlinson? Colorado even looking at these guys? I got to be honest, I haven't watched either of those guys, so I don't have takes. There's so many players in the portal that it's hard to even know where to start, other than when you see Colorado has offered a guy or that guy's coming in on a visit.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Preston Young. I have heard Trey Tomlinson's name mentioned on the old X/Twitter, but I mean, I'm not too familiar with either of them, and we'll see.
All right. Oh, by the way, we will also have a portal update from our guy Philip Dukes on the channel today, so keep an eye out for that. All right, go Bucks. Is the no walk-on start in 2025? Does that mean all walk-ons on the roster will have to get a scholarship? I do believe that starts next year. The roster is expanding. It kind of goes along with the revenue sharing. And yeah, if you're going to be around, you're going to be on scholarship. We'll see what the long-term effects are with that. I mean, college football just changes every other week, and we won't even know what really was the cause, because so many different things have changed.
Hell yeah.
Sean Camp, does Myles Garrett stay in Cleveland? I have no idea what his situation is.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Pretty sure he's under contract unless he forces his way out. Should be there.
Next one, before we get to Super Chats. Sorry I'm late, but did y'all talk about the Rob Livingston situation?
The only Rob Livingston situation I've heard mentioned was actually a YouTube comment on one of our videos, I think maybe on Friday.
No,
that's the only situation dealing with Rob Livingston that I've heard of. So
yeah, there's no Rob Livingston situation that we're aware of.
Yeah.
All right. Super Chats. First one from our guy East Coast Kev. $10. He says, salute DNVR. I looked at the film on our new tight end, Zane DeSouza, 6'6", 255 pounds. He can also play DE. I'm shocked he didn't get a lot of offers. Shout out to Buffed and Prime for the breakdown. Yeah, we actually broke him down during our signing day special. The only thing that made it tough is just the level of competition was really low for him.
Yeah.
Not even at I believe at the top level of Colorado football. But all it takes is one look at that guy to know that he's a college football player.
Hell yeah.
And, the conversation with us was really about whether he stays at tight end or if his frame is just so large that it makes sense for him to make the transition to tackle.
Facts. Hell of a player, though. Again, another late bloomer, too. I'm excited for his future.
Next one from Scott, $25 Super Chat. We appreciate you. He said, RK wanted to get your thoughts on Andre Gurode as a potential O-line coach. CU dog and NFL dog. Currently the O-line coach in the UFL. I did not know that. Keep up the good work. Happy New Year and Go Buffs.
I remember him in the NFL. I didn't know he went to CU.
Yeah.
Didn't he play for like the
Cowboys?
Cowboy. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Long career with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Maybe he did play with another team
for sure.
Towards the end. But yeah, part of that early 2000s CU offensive line that was just mauling people, especially Nebraska. So yeah, I mean, definitely worth checking out.
Played for my Bears in 2012. That's where I remember him.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. All right. Another one from East Coast Kev. He says, as a New York Jets fan, I don't want Travis going to New England. We'll have to see him twice a year. He's such a good kid. I'd hate to pray for his injuries. Whoa. And F Oregon and their coach, Clan Lanning. Damn.
East Coast Kev, when we did a best couple months ago on a roundtable, best fits for Shedeur and Travis, my best fit for Shedeur that I picked was the New York Jets. And that's an interesting one to me. As they sit here at owning the number 7 overall pick, Aaron Rodgers is done. Yep. Whether he's done playing in the NFL or done playing for the Jets, he's done.
He's done.
They need an answer at quarterback, and it wouldn't surprise me either if they were a team maybe like Las Vegas that kind of trade into that top 3 to get their hands on Shedeur, because I think that would still be a great fit. I obviously have to figure out head coach after they're just firing Robert Saleh, but with Breece Hall, with Garrett Wilson, with maybe Devontae Adams still there, and that defense, that's an elite landing spot for a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders. And, of course, it's still in New York, so that'd be dope as well. But don't sleep on the Jets in the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes. I'm holding on to that.
There was another part of that question that I forgot. But anyways, all right, let's get to the next one. From Barron. Where's Jackson Dart in the mix? Shedeur in New York is fire. TH12 in New England. But TH12 as a Brown goes both ways 100%. Travis is the whole market in Cleveland.
I agree, Barron. Jackson would be my 3rd quarterback in this draft.
He showed out in that bowl game.
He went crazy.
That throw where he's rolling left and throws it back across his body.
The Zach Wilson pro day throw.
Yes. Yes. But actually in a real game was very, very impressive.
Hell yeah.
A lot of people not liking the Jets just because of what a dumpster fire their organization is.
You can literally say that about all the teams in the top 7 of the draft this year, pretty much.
It's one of those, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just look at the weapons. That's what I really want to know.
Same.
Because I think that quarterback is by far the most important position, and including head coach, offensive coordinator, owner, anything in an NFL franchise. And so I think wherever Shedeur goes, he's going to raise all boats. But he's got to have some people to throw the ball to.
You have to, bro. I've seen too many quarterbacks get ruined by their surroundings, whether that be coaching, whether that be a lack of talent around them.
Yep.
Especially as a Bears fan, man. I've seen it too many damn times.
How are you feeling about that win yesterday?
Anytime you beat the Packers, that's a great win.
So we were debating, we were watching here before the Broncos game, like, what do Bears fans want? Are they just like, you know what, F it, let's just get the pick? Or do they need to end this streak against the Packers? And I reference back to the Broncos ending their streak against the Chiefs last year. Like,
got to do it.
You got to get that dark cloud out of there.
Have to eventually.
Especially when you have your quarterback fixed. Where you pick in the draft isn't nearly as
18
important.
or 20, it doesn't matter,
yes.
bro. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. That was a big one. Now we just got to get the head coach right. Hopefully it's Ben Johnson.
And y'all have 10. You know, you're picking at 10. That's
right.
not a bad place to be.
Not at all.
You've got me worried that Cleveland is going to trade down with Las Vegas.
Bro, I think somebody's going to do it, bro. Because if you're Cleveland, it's like, unless you feel great about Shedeur or Cam, you probably better serve trading back, taking the Bears method, trading back and getting as many assets as you can.
Yep. East Coast Kev chimes back in and says the Jets would destroy Shedeur. He deserves better.
It all depends on the head coach, man.
Bro, you've got to be so down bad as a fan to not want a player to come to your team because you like them too much.
That is wild.
That is down horrendous. And we got a last-minute super chat from OG. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. And it looks like we got another one from Devin, which I disagree with. He said Shedeur needs to sit for a year wherever he goes. That man does not sit. He is not made to sit on the bench. Nah. He's going to be a day one, week one, first week of training camp starter.
Facts, man. I was just thinking about, I think I mentioned it maybe to you or maybe Jake, maybe off the show, but just feeling real, man. Just imagining Travis Hunter in like a fantasy football lens. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know my biggest regret is so I might be in the Travis Hunter zone of my draft in my dynasty league. And I'm just sad because we don't have individual defensive players.
Damn.
Because I think in a league where you do, you could start him at wide receiver, but still get points if he gets a pick.
Hell yeah. Definitely.
And that's just crazy.
It's going to be a cheat code
It's
next
like
year.
how people could start
Taysom
Hill at tight end to get his quarterback points.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's going to be crazy. And also, too, I mean, speaking of Travis Hunter, he just picked up another reward today. Did you see that? Or some recognition?
No.
Sports Illustrated this morning.
I did see this.
Early this morning, named him the Breakout Star of the Year. Sports Illustrated 2024 Breakout Star of the Year. And, of course, people in the mentions were like, maybe let's give it to somebody we never heard of last year, an actual breakout. But Travis Hunter, again, just racking up the accolades and the recognition, deservedly so.
I'll admit my first reaction was like, he was already a star.
Yeah.
He just became a much bigger star this year.
Facts.
But we'll take it.
Definitely.
We'll take it. And last minute super chat again from OG, who says, met my guy RK on the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Cool guy.
He is pretty cool.
Someone's got to log me out of that account. Appreciate you, though. Thank you very much. All right. There we go. We did it. No Jake. I think we stayed on the rails. We forgot a couple things. But
it's all right. We made it through.
We'll iron it out. And he's back tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to see my guy.
Can't wait to have him back. So Jake will be back on the show. Remember, 12:15 from now until probably fall camp. If I were to guess. So, jot it down. Tap in with us every day, 12:15 Mountain Time. We will see you guys tomorrow. Just go Buffs.
all city like the mayor.